The Match Ball.
Hello to you and welcome to the show. This is brought to you by Levi Solicitors, isn't it, Michael? Your favourite firm in the world, I think, not just law firm.
Very much so. I was putting boxes back in a van today and someone asked me if I had any wills, probate or conveyancing. And I didn't correct them and say, no, I've got lasting powers of attorney instead with a better discount, because that's the thing.
Which is what?
15%, end of October. There you go.
Very good. Well done. Try and catch you out every time. Sometimes you even pull it off. 15% discount until the end of October 2024. Levi's birthday month, their 90th birthday month. 15% on wills, conveyancing, lasting powers of attorney. 10% discount on all the other stuff there. Find it on the website. Right. Leeds 2-0. Let's start with our big three, shall we? The three big talking points of the game. What have you got?
Joseph scored.
And?
Oh, more than that.
Let's list them all. Joseph scored. The new boys. Let's talk about the new boys.
New boys. Mainly one new boy, really, because the others didn't get much of a game. But and what else do you want to do?
Why do you hate Altanaka?
I thought it was fine. I don't want to
talk about him yet.
Got some good songs at the end.
He did.
And what's the third and final point then? What we settled on?
I don't know. Just don't talk about the style of play again.
Style of play was interesting.
Because it was frustrating in parts, I would say.
Was it?
I think so. I think people were getting a bit annoyed with the playing it around the back thing.
No, I don't think so. I thought the game management was quite good today because it was hot in Ellen Road. It must have been hot at that pitch side.
You're sweaty now, aren't you?
I've got a mild film on me.
He's gone for the black T-shirt, that's why.
Yeah, to hide the marks, that's why. To hide the marks. These T-shirts, by the way, all very nice, aren't they? Get them, all new ones. Get them at thesquareball.net. Thank you very much. But yeah, style of play, I thought we zipped it around better because we had a slightly disturbing conversation on the way into the stadium, didn't we, Michael? You put a point forward and I was like, oh God, I haven't thought about that, but what if it's true? And I started thinking about it in the first half, particularly in that opening spell, because we were dead good in the early part. But the point you made was...
might be better without Georgie.
What if we're better without Georgie?
That's actually the least disturbing conversation I've heard you two have.
That's fair enough, yeah.
Not while we're streaming, Robert.
But if we'd have had Brendan Aronson last year, would have gone up instead of that waster. Thank God we've shipped him off to Brighton.
There was a point, though, in that first half when I was zipping it around, and this feeds into the style of play, and I thought, maybe we are. Maybe Georgie was slowing us down with all his twists and his turns and holding us up, because we were zipping it around dead good in that first bit. We didn't get the goal, and it settled into a bit of more of a regular, cagey, slightly affair, I thought, in that first half, where we looked fairly evenly matched. What did you make of it?
It reminded me a little bit of the Portsmouth game, where I thought we started well, albeit there wasn't the flurry of chances that we had against Portsmouth, and then just sort of died down a little bit after 20 minutes or so. But again, that's where you do have to say there are two teams that are on the pitch. Yeah. And you think back to the whole game at Ellen Road last season, and that was kind of hard work at times. So I think you do have to say, fair enough, I guess, to them. You weren't good enough. But, well done.
Rub their hair and patronise them now, Rob.
Well done for trying.
We seemed to basically be well on top, and then there was the disallowed goal, wasn't there, where Nonto... I'm going to assume he was onside and we've been robbed.
That absolutely terrible corner that turned into a chance.
Yeah, he was offside a lot today, wasn't he, Nonto?
He had that good chance in the second half.
I think 3 or 4 times he was offside. But yeah, from that point, they came back into it for a bit without actually creating anything apart from that one where there was an obvious foul on Rodon and they had a shot that Melier saved.
Yeah,
I think it was an obvious foul on Rodon anyway.
Somebody was watching that. One of my mates abroad messaged me and said it was definitely a foul. So I'm happy to take that as...
And is he unbiased?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, absolutely neutral. Yeah,
cool. It did seem mental, given that there was a ridiculously soft free kick given. I think it was on Louis Coyle in the corner, and then their striker just barged Rodon out of the way very blatantly. They did miss a very good chance. Well, it never came to a chance, but it was when Melier just gave the ball to their attacker, which he did a couple of times. Albeit, I did have some sympathy for him because there was Ampadu in the middle of the park telling him to calm down while he had like 2 strikers coming at him. And Ampadu just wasn't showing for a pass, but he was like, just calm down, Ilan. And he gave the ball to them and it was like, well, what do you expect?
Because I guess it runs counter, or I'm making this assumption, that kind of runs counter to the training, which is retain the ball, look after it, pass it out to somebody. But if there's no angle and there's no pass...
Yeah, Ampadu seemed to be telling him...
The option is to hoof it, isn't it?
Ampadu seemed to be telling him, retain the ball without actually offering him the option. I can't remember if that was actually that chance or earlier, but I felt a little bit sorry for Melier at that point.
Yeah, Danny B is suggesting that Hull were they were Champo with big Champo bastards at the back and big Champo bastard up top, and we dispatched them with some good football. Easy as that.
He was a really big Champo bastard up front, wasn't he? Must admit, he's one of those that you sort of don't appreciate the size of him till he comes nearer the cop, and as he gets nearer, you're like, oh wow, he is.
Yeah, just enough to give you
he's a real unit.
a bit of discomfort at corners where you think, I don't want to concede corners here.
But it was a shit house. He just kept fouling people. Kept doing there were a few times actually they got away with I think, was it on a member show or the normal show this week? I can't remember. The HurryCane thing where people jump and they just go underneath them and make them fall badly. I think that Miller did it on one occasion as well, which I thought I'd have had him imprisoned for.
You didn't like him, did you? You had objections to him today because we were linked with him in the summer.
Yeah, he just seems to be doing the same stuff he did last year, really, when he was giving Archie a problem for Preston, where he was just cutting in, and he had a shot, didn't he? I think he cut in and shot on one occasion.
Yeah, he seemed the most likely to score for them.
Yeah.
It was fine. Meslier made a good save from him, actually. And talking of Champo bastards, I would like to doff my cap to Louis Coyle. Because he wound me up, but at the same time I thought, you played for Leeds, like I quite appreciate what you're doing.
The crowd reminded him as well, Rob.
Yeah, which is good. But then there was a point in the first half where he just dribbled across his own 6-yard box. And I was looking at Joseph and Aronson like, why are you just tackling him? Like, this is annoying.
Yeah, he really set off at pace, didn't he? Just like he was doing a little training exercise.
It wasn't that quick though, that was the thing.
In terms of their style of play, I always felt that there was potentially a mistake in their passing around at the back. Because they were doing some really high. I mean, we were doing some high risk stuff, but they were doing some really high risk stuff.
Yeah, both teams were pressing fairly high. I mean, they were pressing very high compared to Sheffield Wednesday as well, who more or less seemed to let us do our own thing at the back. Whereas it felt like Hull realised there was a route to a goal if they could just put pressure on us when we're doing that Meslier to Rodon to Ampadu to Rodon to Meslier thing, which was causing moments of stress.
It was at moments, but there were other times when I thought, we've done the right thing here. Like I thought the game management towards the end was really, really good. Because again, hot conditions, don't overstretch yourself, don't jeopardise conceding a goal at that point. Because I think this is the problem. Like Farkas football at times can be quite conservative. And I noticed after we went 1-0 up, we dropped into quite a compact shape in the middle of the park. Wasn't a lot of room in there. We seemed to be wanting to have them send the ball wide or whatever and just limit their options to get through the middle. But I think it probably worked today because just when we were doing that, there was a little creep of not nerves, but there's a little bit of we can't relax here because it's only 1-0 and we seem to have limited our ambitions going forward. But then we got the second and it just kind of put all that to bed. We scored at the right time, I thought. Yeah,
we did. And I think the first goal came at a good time as well because it's in that area where if you don't score, you start getting stressed and you start...
They're stressed.
They are stressed. I get a bit stressed at that point. So we'd been a better team though, and you're thinking, but the longer this goes on, the more difficult it gets because we know what Fark is like with subs, and I suppose the players that are options there are maybe new, so you can't necessarily rely on them to do anything. And I don't know, it just felt like it was a good job we did score.
Yeah,
it was a really nice goal to score as well, where it wasn't necessarily like a clear-cut chance, but it was kind of a 50-50 chance where it was a bit out of nothing where you just thought, he's swung a cross in to the near post. But we've actually got a striker attacking it. And I feel bad for saying this, but I feel like I've seen Pat Bamford miss that chance or make nothing of it so many times, whereas Joseph just alert and really direct and just gets in there and puts it in the net. And you just think, fuck yes.
was there a tiny bit of you that was surprised almost because it looked quite a difficult chance from a narrow angle? Like, I mean, first of all, I think Solomon did great to create the chance and we'll get onto him in a second with the new boys. But yeah, that finish, did he open his body up? Because I've not seen it back yet. Did he just sort of open his body up and thrust it in with his foot or what?
Yeah, I said the exact same thing when it went in about Bamford. Because I'm sure Bamford, it may have been a header with Bamford, but it was from a very similar spot and he put it wide and we were
against
like,
Portsmouth.
Yeah, against Portsmouth. We were like, but the angle was a bit tough for him. But the angle was a bit tough for Joseph.
And he just puts it in.
But he just scored.
Yeah.
And it was great. And you could tell he really loved it as well, which was nice. And it was... He'd had a good game. He had actually quite a quiet first half, but then he'd done a couple of really nice moments I actually didn't realise quite how good he was going to be in defensive and midfield situations, Joseph. I imagined him to be like the man up top all the time, and that's where he'd win his points. But actually, he did some really nice stuff in front of the Hull fans down in that corner. And then there's into the second goal was him as well, wasn't it? Again, just looking after the ball really well and feeding it to far post.
Because that was their corner, wasn't it? Or a free kick, and he's there defending it, and then he's winning the ball at left back and just keeping the ball. Yeah, very good.
But after a fairly quiet first half, when nothing seemed to particularly fall to him, I thought he was brilliant in everything.
And also for a guy who's been waiting for his first goal, and has missed some good chances. And the fact that his goal comes from a 50-50 chance, like, I think that's really good.
Yeah, very much. I think he needed that goal.
Yeah.
It'll just settle him down. Now he's done that, got it out of his system. You can build on that. So in terms of the new boys, we'll move into that aspect of the big three. The new boys, Solomon is obviously going to be the one that steals the headlines because he got the assist. He looked really, really high quality today. I thought you could just see he's got that Premier League class, just the speed of thought, the footwork, the speed of his distribution.
Yeah, he did a few little touches. There was one, it didn't lead to anything, but it was on the, as I was kind of looking at the pitch, he drifted over to the right a bit and he was just on the edge of the box and I can't even quite describe what he did, but he just did something and I went,
he kind of span on the ball.
I sort of went, bloody hell.
Yeah.
It was just a really nice quality bit of football.
Yeah.
But I thought it looked very good.
I thought he started very well, and then I thought he drifted out of it a little bit along with the entire team, which was kind of that thing of Hull getting into it. But then as I was looking to the touchline thinking, maybe sub him off because his knees are broken, he comes up with an assist and you think, yeah, you're a good footballer. Well done.
Yeah, the momentum graph is quite instructive in that regard, actually. If you look at it, there was we went through a spell from about 55 minutes, just looking at it on FotMob, where they had a little spell. We had a tiny little spell, but it didn't really come to anything. We sort of settled into a bit of a neutral pattern. And then we just suddenly burst into life and scored from that point. But you can tell after we scored and had a little bit of momentum after the goal that we settled and controlled the game because they had most of the ball, but without getting very far into our half at all. And then during that, we scored the second.
That is what it felt like. It was. There was not an awful lot of scrambling around us. There was one moment where they were attacking and it felt like it was just a matter of time until a chance opened up for them. But generally speaking, it was pretty well contained in the midfield. Is how it felt. Even when they had it, it was like, well, you're not going to do anything with it. So, and it always felt like the counter attack was potentially on for us as well.
Yeah. And that counter attack, we seem to be slightly. That's what I guess what we're getting at with the style. Talking about the style, zipping it around. The players seem quite a good fit for that, I think.
Yeah, I think so, and I think Aronson was decent again in the number 10. It all seemed to actually work quite well as given that's still a very new unit. It's Nonto, Solomon, and Aronson. Given that's brand new, I thought it actually looked pretty slick.
I think it's always worth remembering that as well because like we went to West Brom and we were dismal. But you think we just sold Somerville and Rutter and we'd basically practiced all summer with Somerville and Rutter in our team. And then you think, well, he's had about 2 days to change this. So it was fair enough that he just went and sat for a draw. And then you saw against Sheffield Wednesday, we came up with a new attacking plan with Nonto kind of drifting inside, which he did again today, albeit from the opposite wing. But yeah, it's just promising that you think these will all hopefully get better, I guess.
Yeah. Practice and fitness, I suppose, will help in that regard. I thought Tanaka looked really good when he came on. So I'm prepared to say right now, those 5 to 10 minutes that we saw of him mean that he's going to be one of the greatest bargains the Championship has ever seen.
What did he do nicely?
Passing. And he just looked very, very comfortable on the ball.
I can't believe you've managed to read this much into it. I thought you were joking because he'd barely been on.
But you look at him, he just looked so confident. I know the game was effectively won by that point, but he just looked really, really tidy on the ball, confident in possession, whereas sometimes you've looked at some of our players in tight areas in midfield and you go, don't lose it there, don't fuck about with it there. But actually, he looked really, really calm.
That was when the Olays started around then, which was very good, albeit I basically left for stoppage time, went to the toilet to watch the rest from the bar because I needed Leeds to win 2-0. And I was absolutely terrified, and it was the most stressful part of the day.
Would you have been booing a third goal, Rob?
So I had a fiver on Leeds to win 2-0 with Joseph to score.
Right.
So I was very happy by the end, but stoppage time was horrendous. When I saw he'd added 5 on, I was like, 5 minutes? What's going on, Rev?
How much money have you won then?
About 90 quid.
That's very nice.
I'll take it.
Lovely stuff.
I'll pay for a night out, maybe almost.
Pays for all the losses throughout the rest of the season.
Indeed. But yeah, he had managed to have quite a lot of touches, actually. Did Tanaka. I'm just looking. 22 touches.
Yeah.
Jim Badsey was only on 5 minutes.
Yeah. But it was more like 10, wasn't it? I think.
Well,
in the end with the injury time. And what did you make of Ramazani? He looks like he's got a little bit of sauce.
Did one little bit, didn't he? When towards the end, he did some twisty-turny stuff in the midfield, which was nice. But I suppose we didn't see that much of him.
I thought he was tidy rather than being spectacular. I thought.
Yeah, but I mean, I was happy enough with it. It certainly wasn't one of those where because we've definitely had it in the past where, I don't know, Edgar Charney comes on and you see him touch a...
Do you think that's a good comparison?
You see him touch a football and straight away you go, oh shit, what's this?
Well, because there was a lot of clamour, obviously, for a number 10 in the transfer window, and I think today's probably going to settle a lot of nerves down because everybody who came on out of the new boys all looked like pretty good recruits on the evidence of today.
Mm-hmm.
It was nice to have a comfortable win where you could throw a few of them on and just be like, we don't have to overload you with a load of tactical information. Just go on and play football. Like, it's fine. You're good players.
Yeah.
And we're winning, so don't worry too much.
It was nice when Tanaka came on and he went over to Ampadu and they did a little high five type thing, and it was like, they're just like they're just meeting for the first time, more or less, at this point. They barely know each other, do they? But they're
new friends.
Exactly.
New friends.
We're going to play midfield together now. That'll be nice.
But he was good. Yeah, they were all good. And our old new toy, Joel Pirou, came off the bench. It felt like he's been a little bit unloved, given his sort of recent slightly bovine performances and well, I guess he must have had a difficult week with that story of him potentially being offered out to Sheffield United that they obviously made up, which is unfair. But
even the potential of having to work for Chris Wilder, send a shiver down your spine.
I really hope his goal has upset Chris Wilder. But yeah, I was really pleased for him because he has had a difficult start to the season, and he is in that Rodrigo space that we keep talking about where people are a bit down on him, really. And for him to come on and just take his goal really well, it was like, yeah, that's what he does. Stop fucking around with him as a number 10.
Yeah, that was the thing. Joel Pirou in that position, I like.
Yeah.
In the box with space to put a nice calm finish in, absolutely perfect. He's probably the person I'd most want in that position. It's when he's on the centre circle somewhere trying to pull strings, it just doesn't work.
Well, that was his first touch because I think he did come on as a number 10, didn't he? But his first touch was like really abysmal. You could tell everyone was going, oh, fucking hell, here he is.
Yeah, and he had a shot wide as well, didn't he? Not long after that. Yeah, it was a very Becchio touch in the midfield where he has to go chasing after it for a little bit. But we used to love that in Becchio. But it wasn't really his game, was it?
But it was a very composed finish and on his right as well. But that was a lovely move. And let's rewind actually and talk about Junior Firpo's role in that and winning that ball back and the instinct of knowing exactly when to go after it, winning it back, and then just linking stuff up on the left. And the early balls just made such a difference, I thought.
Is Junior Firpo actually good now? There's just silence here.
No one wants to say it.
No one can...
We're confronting new realities here, Michael.
He's Junior Firpo.
Because he looked really good.
Yeah.
If I'd not seen him in the Premier League, I'd be like, yeah, he's a good left back. Really good for this division. But there's just a lack of trust there somehow still.
TJ's put a good comment on the stream. Live streaming for our TSB Plus members. Hello to you. Thank you for that. Stick around afterwards, by the way, on the audio version. We carry on recording and we'll just debrief, just have a little chat, give you a few minutes of bonus chat. How lucky are you? TJ says, can we all just take a moment to reflect on the international feed commentator calling Firpo Mr. Consistent?
Wow.
He is now.
That is the times they are a-changing, aren't they?
Bobby Dazzler goes one further, suggesting Firpo for Player of the Year. Never mind these new T-shirts. Get some mugs sorted, Michael.
We did talk about Firpo mugs.
It's time.
I suppose the transfer window is now shut as well, so you can have a bit more confidence. How many should we print? 10?
1,000?
1,000?
10,000?
Somewhere between the two. But yeah, according to FOTMob, actually, he was our best player.
Right,
today
really?
was Junior Firpo, yeah. He was the man of the match. Everyone, apart from Rodon, actually, was in the green, and everyone, apart from Louis Coyle, was in the red on Hull. So it just goes, and their big shithouse striker, 5.7.
Right.
Pathetic.
Quite
right.
Rodon booked again. And was it Gruev or Ampadu who got booked? It was Gruev by the looks of it. Yeah, there was one where they both seemed to chop someone at the same time.
That was a shit booking on Rodon, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember being angry about it. I can't remember what happened.
But I think the ref was still annoyed because Rodon had been having a go at him about not getting a free kick when Big Shithouse had barged him out of the way previously. And I think the ref was still a little bit upset at some of the stuff that was said. So when Rodon pulled someone back, he didn't take kindly to it.
Jim's asking for Willie extension mugs. Do we recast them now?
We have Willie.
We could get some latte ones done because that's like a Willie extension mug.
Willie mugs are in stock.
They are, aren't they?
They are in stock.
He does need to learn the offside rule, as Rob points out that you were discussing before. And HH, just a little bit of tech support for you here. HH is just asking, how do I get to the audio version? If you go to my account on the website and copy and paste the TSB Plus feed into your podcast app, manually add it.
In your
then-
podcast app, it was called something like add URL or add RSS feed.
But if you're on like Apple Podcasts, chuck it in there, just manually add the show, do that, paste it, and it'll work like a normal podcast.
I mean,
Pocket Cast has been a bit of an arse, by the way, if you're on the Android version at the minute. It's them, not us.
if he's watching this live, just shut your eyes.
Yeah,
Same
but
thing.
the
It's
extras-
the audio, it's the
Of
bonus
course,
stuff,
right, yeah.
isn't it?
All
Anyway,
that great stuff.
back to business. We were talking about the second goal and how fun that was. Well timed, as I mentioned before. I think you could feel the nerves settle in Ellen Road, couldn't you? It's like, off you go. Fuck off. I'm going,
Yeah, it felt Sheffield Wednesday-ish after the second one. Because the thing is with a lot of teams in this league, I know Portsmouth disproved this because they did score 3 against us. But you sort of get the feeling most teams don't have 2 goals in them against us. Because we are, for all we've lost key players and whatnot, we are still better than most teams. And you think, well, there's no way they're scoring twice now. They can't. It's against the rules. And so there's a degree to which everyone just can relax. And I think it took it out of them as well. You could tell they were a bit like, this is all done.
Yeah, we're not Everton, are we?
No, we're not.
Can we just stop and acknowledge them for a moment, given they were 2-0 up on 86, 87 minutes and lost?
Something like-
Admittedly, they lost to a goal by a rat bastard in the form of Luis Sinistera, but when we're weighing up crimes against football, are we allowed to let that one slide with Sinistera today because it makes it bad for Everton? Or
Lewis Cook scored,
right,
so let's
So
just give it all to him.
fine, yeah. What do you reckon of the dickhead ref today? He was. You were talking about this earlier, Michael. Like, he was letting quite a lot of stuff go. He was letting a lot of physical stuff go, and it took him a while to get his yellow card out. I thought.
it was rubbish.
Right.
Yeah, really inconsistent. That classic thing of they will give a foul where there's no contact, and then there'll be very clearly contact, like when Rodon was bundled over, and it's like, no, just crack on.
There was almost Louis Coyle threw Manos Solomon as well. He had both hands. He had a hand on both sides of his shirt, and he just like wanged him around the corner.
Oh, that was the point at which Solomon kind of went like,
Yeah.
And the ref was
ref
like,
just waved
"Yeah,
play on.
Oh, looks good.
And also Coyle just throwing himself to the ground after a set piece. I think he was up in our half. And the referee was like, no, get up, you've dived. It's like, fuck him. He's cheated. And you're calling him out. So, like, have some conviction.
Do we know, does this dickhead ref have a name?
I did look earlier. I've got the program out there with it on.
You bought a program?
No, my dad got one and he foisted it upon me. Do you want that? No.
It's like his match ticket. He buys it, he don't want it.
72 minutes. Dave, we could do Dave Watch. We could have that as a feature to the show. Dave left on 72 minutes today. Well, he left his seat on 72. I reckon he would have watched the second goal go in and then probably gone at that point.
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, there's the comments on the stream. Everyone's sort of saying he was fairly useless today. What a refreshing change, says your Bo's arse. Where are you in terms of the optimism scale, Michael? We'll jump straight ahead to that if you want to.
Going up again.
But where are you in time? Like we're measuring this in time. So think about a time in your life when you've been a Leeds fan.
This feels very...
Is it January last year?
No.
This year? Sorry.
No. This feels Grayson League One.
Right.
Start of that season where I was like, actually, we're good. We've got good players here. We've got better players than other teams. That'll be enough. We're going to go up.
Which is quite apt because walking out the ground and down the Lowfields tunnel, there was a fan behind me and I heard him say to his mate, like, don't stress about it now. We'll just collapse in April. It's kind of, well, Grayson's League One, that was a bit earlier than that, wasn't
A little
it,
bit,
really?
yeah.
Still wobbled in April.
Yeah, I was going to say there was a definite post-cup collapse, wasn't there? And then it picked up and then fell off again and just about picked up again. So I look forward to that.
Very good. What about Farke's influence on the game today then, overall, in terms of, starting 11, I suppose. Solomon coming in, did you expect Ramazani or was Solomon not a surprise?
I thought it would have gone for Ramazani just because he's been in the door like an extra few hours. But and he's played football this season, hasn't he, as well? Whereas Solomon, I don't think has had a kick. So, but I think from pedigree point of view, Solomon has played a lot more games in his career. He's played in England before. Maybe he's a bit more suited to just being dropped in without any kind of training sessions, particularly. And he did really well. I thought it looked excellent.
And moving Willie to the right felt like a big decision, really, because he played really well at Wednesday off the left, albeit drifting inside. I did have a slight fear when it was still 0-0, like, oh no, we've got loads of left wingers and no one's players, and number 10 are on the right. But it worked out in the end, and it was fine. And Solomon on the left comes up with the assist. So good.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about this enough, probably, because
Right.
it's a really good cross, and he has to beat a couple of men. He doesn't really beat them, doesn't go past them, but he creates enough space to still get his cross in, and it's a lovely cross.
Well, yeah, because it was just before that goal. My dad was moaning about how we've got this left winger who doesn't have a left foot, and he just put it perfectly on his left foot and put a beautiful cross in.
Just make fools of us all, doesn't it? Yeah.
We've all been there.
Of course we have. Timing of the subs, it was a bit of a moot point because of the goal with us scoring at 63. Because I remember thinking on the hour, is it time to start thinking about changing now rather than waiting until 70 minutes just because of the heat on the pitch and the fact that, and of course you had to start to think, same as you, Michael, Solomon's his influence is just starting to wane a little bit in this game. Do we put some fresh legs on and make some changes? And then, of course, brilliant assist 1-0. And it didn't really matter, did it? And we made the subs around the 74 in the end because we were defending corners at the time, weren't we? Which delayed it by a couple of minutes. I know it would have upset Farke not getting him bang on 70.
And then the late subs just felt fun because it was like just bringing on some new people to have a look at, letting people have a rest, giving Joseph a nice sort of round of applause.
Yeah, so it was Bogle off for Byram at 83, 86 was Rothwell on for Gruev, and then Tanaka at 86 for Matteo Joseph at the same time. Yeah. Fun is correct because by that time we were having fun.
We should probably give Bogle a bit of credit today. I thought he had his best game, and against Miller, who, if you remember last year, gave Archie an absolutely awful time. He did all right against him, I thought, for the most part.
Yeah, he's been getting better week by week. It was telling how miserable everyone was after West Brom that the player ratings we got in, Rodon and Bogle, were worse than they were against Portsmouth, which they actually weren't. But I think because everyone was like, just throw it all away.
The mood was worse.
Yeah. But since then, they've all been better. Yeah,
like I imagine on the player ratings today, all the subs will get good scores too. People are like, I loved what Joe Rothwell did today. Brilliant. What did you do? I don't know. We won, so it's fine.
Yeah, Bogle did get caught on the wrong side a couple of times, but there was a point at which he stepped out, and I think it must have been Miller who got him behind, but then he made a good recovery run. I think so. He suffered a little bit with cramp today by the looks of it. Took a couple of bangs, but yeah. Just looking at the comments coming through. In the post-match, Farke overall pleased with the transfer window, but recognises it would have been preferable to have brought in a pure number 10. I need to work with other tools, he says. It's like you, Michael, isn't it, with your gaffer tape and your cable ties. I'm excited to do that. I'm not an accountant. I have to get the best out of what I've got.
Okay. That is interesting he said that, because it does suggest they were actively trying to get one and have fallen short. But it was funny, a few people said to me today, what do you think of the window? They fell short, didn't they? I was like, I think they've just about got away with it. But it's interesting that he said that.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're going to discuss the window a bit with Graham Smith, aren't we? Who's coming on?
Yeah, so Graham is coming round after we finish this in a bit. When he's done his post-match duties, we'll record that and we'll get the West Stand, which is going to come out on Monday. But we'll have a natter about that because he wrote some pretty strong stuff to Graham, but we'll speak to him about that. So yeah, what do you reckon in terms of man of the match?
I'll give it to Joseph, just for scoring.
Yeah, that was a big goal. I liked Nonto again. It felt a lot like if anyone was going to do it, he was, and then he didn't. It was someone else, which again was maybe why Joseph deserves it.
Yeah, I'll maybe Firpo.
I think Junior today.
Yeah. You've talked me around actually. Joseph got it last game, didn't he, as well? From Sky anyway, not from us.
Been hoarding them.
Yeah, give it to Junior. He needs some love.
Yeah.
Maybe the presence of competition is going to push him to greater things.
Well, yeah, we've got Schmidt to come in yet, haven't we? And he could be fun because he, like Junior, can play all over the entire pitch. If you look at
more by design with him, isn't it?
And maybe this is Firpo's the number 10 that we didn't know we needed.
He wasn't quite as maverick today.
No, he
wasn't Firpo. I didn't notice him. There was never a point during the game, which there generally is, where you look up and you go, "Who's this on the right wing? Oh, it's Junior Firpo." And then, or he's in the box, or he's doing something.
Yeah, I noticed in the first half we very briefly switched the wingers around, but I think that was from a set piece. But we didn't switch the fullbacks around, which I'm fine with. I think that's sensible.
Yeah, don't do that because it frightened us before.
No one else does it for a reason.
We're up to 4th.
We are. Are we starting to look at the table now?
Yeah. Oh, big time. Yeah. Now we're getting towards the top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think overall, how do you feel about that? About the whole thing? About the whole setup today, how it's left you feeling post-window? Because there was a little bit of anxiety towards the end of the window because of the failure to get the 10.
Yeah, I felt like it needed a win today.
Yeah, I think more so off the back of last Friday. Just string some wins together. It's really good. The last 2 games have reminded me of that kind of post-Christmas period last season where we just win games and don't have to set the world alight, but are just better than the other team. You think, yeah, just keep doing that.
Did your anxiety levels ever creep up at any point today beyond kind of, we're not comfortable at 1-0? I never felt particularly put out.
No, not massively, I have to say. There were bits where we were playing it out from the back at 1-0 and it just stresses me out a bit when I can see.
Do you want it hoofing forward, Warnock?
I think sometimes I do, There
was a fan in front of me in the first half who was like turning around and was like, oh, Melier, whenever he has the ball at his feet, it just makes me shit myself. And then we passed it around brilliantly and won a corner. I think, well, that's why he does it.
Yeah. It's high risk, high reward, I suppose, isn't it?
Also, on a couple of occasions today when not much was happening, we did just punt it over the top a couple of times for Joseph and it caused him some trouble.
Yeah.
So it is an option. And I think as well, if you've got a team that's pressing up really high and they think you'll never kick it long, it makes it easier for them. So if you do it now and then just to sort of keep them honest, just be like, we can just punt it over the top of you and have someone run after it, It just, I don't know, it caused them issues where there was one where Joseph went through and the keeper had to head it out and then he collected it. There was another one where it was on the other side, on the left-hand side. And it did cause them some issues. But no, for us, there was never any real pressure, was there? Even when they had corners, I don't remember feeling as stressed as I usually do. We did sort of score from a corner today.
Did we?
It was offside.
From the worst corner we've taken all year.
I mean, it was definitely offside.
Not as bad as Xerxes for scumbags at Brighton. That was funny.
Oh, I didn't see that.
Did it when he hit him on the line?
Oh, okay.
Oh, that was good.
From about 3 inches out, yeah.
Sorry.
But yeah, overall then, we happy?
Yeah, very.
Yeah, I feel pretty chilled now. It's nice going into the international break, just thinking, do you know what, we're all right.
It's going to kill our momentum.
Is that it? Sunderland are pulling away, 4 wins out of 4. To be fair, we should have won 3 and drawn 1.
We should really. Yeah. And even so, 2 points per game we're up to now.
Is that right?
That is right, isn't it?
8, what are we? 8 from 4?
Yeah.
8
so
points.
we're staying up in the Premier League.
All we need is another 82 and it's done, isn't it?
There you go. Simple as that.
Yeah. Thanks, lads. Right, well, I suppose we'll wrap the show up there. Then it's all quite nice, isn't it? We can go enjoy the sunshine. Once we've done extra time, which I say, if you're on the audio version for TSB Plus members, just have a listen to the audio version. You'll get some bonus bollocks, basically.
Super.
Yeah. And we'll be back with more match ball action. Who's the next game?
Oh, it's ages off. It's
some chumps.
Burnley. Wheels have fallen off there, haven't they?
Is it done?
Yeah,
finished club. All right, interesting. Cheers then, lads. Right, well, we'll speak on the match ball more after the international break, but of course, look out for propaganda. That'll be fun this week. Some Evertonians. And if you want to get involved with TSB Plus, get the bonus bits, squareball.net/plus. Another fringe benefit is you get early access to the stream, early access to the show. It's all good, isn't it? We'll see you soon.
The match ball.